Alright, so I just want to say, I know this is a long video, right? But I promise you, if you aren't keeping up with other Dragon Ball games, something massive has just happened that may be hinting towards more Dragon Ball FighterZ DLC. Look, I hate creating clickbait titles. I hate creating, false hope. But if you just hear me out, I genuinely believe something is happening. And if nothing ends up happening, this is one of the biggest coincidences in gaming history. Like, no joke, because stuff is just lining up too perfectly for this to just end up being nothing, alright? So let me explain. First of all, trying out a new team. I'm using Team Gohan for the first time, as well as, learning Videl. So excuse the gameplay. And this is my first match, so I'm a bit rusty. Anyways, we're not here for the gameplay, okay? Let me cut to the chase. So Fighterz is getting a rollback beta in like a day or two. That's cool and all, right? Great. It's not on console, it's only on PC. I'm assuming rollback will be on console when, the final release happens. Whatever. That's besides the point. Let me get to the real topic here. You may have seen the title. I swear I'm not just saying this as clickbait. Dragon Ball FighterZ getting more DLC. Why am I saying this? Well, it's simple. Let me explain, alright? This is going to be a lot of explaining, but you really have to understand what I'm saying, because this is so strange that something like this is happening. Like I said, it's either the most insane coincidence in video game history, or we're getting more Fighterz DLC. So what's happening is, Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle is a Dragon Ball mobile game. I've been playing it, since it came out. Game is almost 9 years old. I want you to realize this. This game is almost 9 years old. So, pretty much, if you don't know how Dokkan works, they release a new card every 2 to 4 weeks. Sometimes it takes a little longer, but it's normally about every 2 to 4, maybe 5 weeks. They'll release a new character in the game, right? And they've been doing this for 9 years. There's tons of Dokkan YouTubers, Dokkan is a pretty big game, tons of YouTubers, right? So, why am I talking about the YouTubers, right? If you don't know, Dokkan's been out for 9 years, like I just said. In those 9 years, you can actually know when a card is coming out. Yeah, they follow the same pattern every year. They have, certain celebrations, you can know exactly when a card is coming out. We knew that this card was coming out months, we knew this card was coming out a year ago, but we didn't know who it was. We knew that there was going to be a card that would come out at this time frame, because that's how it's always been for the 9 years in Dokkan. There is always a card that comes out on this time frame. We know the exact time every single card is dropping. Years before they come out. We know when the cards are coming out. We don't know who they are. But we know exactly when a new card is coming, because they've followed the same patterns for 9 years. Again, I want you to really realize what's happening here, okay? If you don't know, there are two versions of Dokkan. There's the Japanese version, and there's the global version, which is every other country that's not Japan. The Japanese version is about 6 months ahead of the global version. So the Japanese version actually has cards that we don't have yet. 6 months. So if a card comes out on Japan, it'll come out on the global version 6 months later, okay? So, something very strange happened. Very strange. Now I want you to, I promise, this isn't me spitting copium for no reason. This is some genuine copium. Something happened for the first time in the 9 years of Dokkan. end of November card, which is coming out very soon, got announced on the same day that Fighterz rollback got announced. And who is it? It's Android 21. If you don't know, Android 21 hasn't been in the game since Dragon Ball FighterZ came out 5 years ago. There's not been an Android 21 card in 5 years. So what? First of all, that's already extremely strange. They get announced on the same day. They come out on the same day. And they're both Dragon Ball FighterZ related, right? Again, someone could correct me if I'm wrong here, because I'm like 90% sure about this, but I believe the Dokkan producers have said that they have the cards that they're going to release planned out at least 1 to 2 years before they come out. So Android 21 they already planned for her to come out a year ago at least. Again, at that time, 1 year ago, the Dragon Ball FighterZ devs didn't even know when rollback was coming out a year ago. They delayed rollback twice. So, for the Dokkan devs to release Android 21 to advertise rollback is very strange. Very strange. That makes me believe that Android 21 isn't coming out to advertise rollback. Android 21 is coming out to advertise a new character, or maybe a new season. Because, you know, like I said, the Fighterz devs didn't even know when rollback was coming out. So why would they have a Dokkan collab planned for rollback when there was no date on it, you know? And like I said, Dokkan has their cards planned for a very long time. So they've had Android 21 planned for a while. Now, if that's not convincing to you, remember how I just said that for the 9 years that Dokkan has been out, the Japan version has been ahead 6 months for the whole time. Well, and I want you to understand, these Dokkan YouTubers have tens of thousands of hours on this game. So, we assumed that when Android 21 got announced, she was coming out on the Japan version, and then she'll come out on the global version 6 months later. Well, guess what? She's coming out on both versions at the same time. And I want you to realize how weird this is, because not only... this has happened before. There are times where cards come out at the same time. However, when it comes to the end of November banner that happens every year, they have never released on global and Japan at the same time before. I also want you to realize that this is such a big deal that they are delaying cards that have supposed to come out already because of Android 21. So there is a Omega Shenron that is supposed to come out. And there is also a Dragon Ball Z Trunks that is supposed to come out. And, you know, they've been out on the Japan version for months. But they haven't been out on the global version yet. And they were supposed to come out. Shenron was supposed to come out a month ago. And I believe Super Trunks was supposed to come out now, I believe? And they're being pushed to the side for Android 21. I'm telling you, it's very strange. It's very strange, because you gotta understand, like I said, these Dokkan YouTubers didn't even expect this. And we have been calling what Dokkan will do for years now. They always follow the same exact patterns every single year for 9 years. They've never broken that pattern. Sometimes they will add new stuff onto that pattern, but they don't really break the pattern. And this is the first time where not only did they break the pattern by releasing them the same time on both versions, but also they're doing a collab card. And if you don't know, Dokkan only collabs with other Dragon Ball games when the games are getting new things. For example, they just did a Dragon Ball Breakers collab when you know Year 2 was coming out like a month ago. They only, and then you know they did it. The only time they've ever done a Dragon Ball Fighterz collab is when Fighterz came out. They released Android 21. So, like, don't you see what I'm not just spitting copium here. This is very strange. Why is this happening? Now, it could be just for rollback, but it wouldn't make sense for them to release a card in a game, right? Where they would be advertising a rollback beta that's not even out in Japan. Because if you don't know, Dragon Ball Fighterz is not on Steam in Japan. And the beta is only on Steam. So why would they be advertising a beta that adds nothing new to the game besides just better netcode? And the beta isn't even in, like, the countries that the game is from. Like, you get what I'm saying? What is happening here? Now, don't get me wrong. It's been 5 years, almost 6 years, since we had an Android 21 card in Dokkan Battle. So it could just be, oh, they want to, you know, release an Android 21, you know, because it's been so long. But, I mean, I want you... The same exact day. It's happened on the same exact day. Not only did it happen on the same exact day, it's broken the 9-year-long rules of Dokkan to make it happen. You know, with releasing them both on, you know, on both versions at the same time. Literally delaying cards in the global version that we were supposed to get months ago, just so that way she can make it in. Like, it's very awkward. And, you know, like I said, Dokkan only does collabs with other games when something new is coming out. You know, I don't want to spread copium for no reason, right? But even some of the Dokkan YouTubers were assuming that Dragon Ball Fighterz is going to get new content just because of this. Because they only do this when the games are getting new things. Yeah. Very strange stuff. Very strange stuff. And then even, again, this could be nothing, like 20 minutes before I record this video, so it's probably been a few hours now since by the time I uploaded this, but the Dragon Ball Games Twitter posted a dramatic finish from Dragon Ball Fighterz, and they're like going through the Dragon Ball, or the dramatic finishes for some reason. Look, I don't like spreading false copium for no reason. But you gotta understand, Dokkan has been out for 9 years, and it's a very predictable game to the point where every release in that game gets predicted. And they broke a 9-year rule for this, you know? If they're advertising only rollback, that would just be so strange to me. I don't think a game has ever gone that far to advertise a netcode update. I don't think that's ever happened before. So you gotta understand, it's very strange, you know. And the fact that we know Dragon Ball Fighterz is getting more updates, it's just weird to me that Fighterz is getting more updates but not more characters. Like, isn't that just kind of weird? You know, most games that don't get updates when they stop getting characters. But no, this game is getting more balance patches, yet it's not getting any new characters. Look, it could be a situation where it's just a coincidence, but again, I mean, do you understand how long it takes to make these cards? You know, these cards have been, like I said, they plan these cards years in advance. And how were you going to, you know, release a card to celebrate rollback in Fighterz when there was no date on rollback in Fighterz? There hasn't been a date. I mean, like I said, the Fighterz devs themselves didn't even know the date. So how could the Dokkan devs know? You know, because it was supposed to come out a year ago. The rollback was supposed to come out a year ago. and it didn't. The only explanation is that they've been cooking up some DLC, you know. And honestly, I'm not, you know, I normally like comments that tell me why I'm wrong, you know. I enjoy comments that, you know, I love seeing the other side of what people have to say, you know. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't see how you could possibly provide evidence against this, you know, because it's just so strange. And if you don't know, by the way, when they do a celebration like this in Dokkan, about a month later, they will release a part 2 to that celebration. And when the part 2 comes out of the celebration, they will release a new card, you know. We don't know who that other card is, but if that other card is a Dragon Ball FighterZ card, what are you doing releasing 2 Dragon Ball FighterZ cards in a Dragon Ball FighterZ celebration? Dragon Ball FighterZ is dead, you know. That game isn't getting more DLC, unless it is, you know. I just don't see why you would go this far for a rollback beta that's only on PC. It just doesn't make any sense. So again, either they have been planning to do a Dragon Ball FighterZ celebration for a while now, or this really does mean something. I mean, it could be a coincidence, but I mean, they got announced on the same day, they're coming out on the same day, and they've broken the 9-year-long rules of Dokkan to make it happen. And I just don't see that happening for a beta. You know, the update could be months away. The update could be months away. You're telling me they're going to do all this for a beta? So yeah, you know, and like I said, it's so strange that even Dokkan YouTubers that have tens of thousands of hours on the game even came out and said, like, this is very strange for a game that's not, like, to do a collab with a game that's not getting any new content is very awkward. Very awkward. So, yeah, I don't want to give people false hope for no reason, but if there was a reason to have any false hope, this would be the reason, because this is just, it's just so strange. I'm never using this move again, by the way, Jesus. Yeah, but this is just so strange that, again, I mean, if you really think about everything I said, it's either the biggest coincidence in the history of gaming, or something is going to happen. So we're just gonna see. We're just gonna see. You know, and obviously I know a lot of people don't even know that this is happening because not everyone plays Dokkan. You know, not everyone plays Dokkan, so they don't really realize how strange this is. You know. And I don't know if you're not familiar with Dokkan animations, just go look up the animations in the game, because they aren't something that you can get done in a week. They aren't something that you can just quickly make. They are very detailed animations. And you know, in some cases, you could say that Dokkan is the best looking Dragon Ball game of all time. You know, that's how good these animations are. So this took some planning to do. Like I said, either Dokkan was always planning to do a Dragon Ball Fighter celebration, or this has been planned for a while as a way to advertise new content in Fighterz. Because, I mean, it's happening on the same exact day, you know, and that's just insane. So anyways, you know, like, subscribe, and I really hope that this goes somewhere. But, you know, on the other hand of things, if you're a Dragon Ball FighterZ fan, you know how this game's been treated over the years. It very well could be that they're just advertising rollback netcode, you know. but I've never seen a game advertise rollback netcode. Like, I haven't seen that before. But you know, when it comes to Dragon Ball FighterZ, they're so... They've treated this game pretty wrong over the years, so I wouldn't be surprised. You know, if they're just doing all this to advertise a beta for an update that's not even out, and it's not even in Japan, you know, whatever. But yeah, just I hope I've been able to really give you guys some information here, because obviously if you don't play Dokkan, you probably had no idea this is even happening, but it's a big deal. So yeah, you know, like I said, like, sub, and if there is more information on this, I will make another video. Because Android 21 has not released in Dokkan yet. She comes out in like a day or two, alongside the rollback beta, which is not out yet. So, you know, if there's some new information on this when those things come out, I will make a video, I promise. So, yeah, peace.